Oh, all right. How is everybody? Hopefully, no audio issues. Okay, so going way, way back with this card, maybe a little bit too far back, but we'll see. Um, I thought this was going to be easy to set up, but it took one very, very particular driver to allow for clock control. Oh, cool. Hi, Rushed. Which is really weird. So I had usually the issue, I mean, usually you don't have voltage control on older cards, but on this card, for whatever reason, um, I had voltage control in like four different drivers, and I mean, really, really good voltage control. I don't know what the top is here, up to 2 volts. I better not hit apply, or else I'll probably blow the card. So voltage control in every driver, but then strange clock control. So I have quite a few utilities on here for clock control, and none of them worked. So I'm I'm kind of cheating a bit here and looking at the result that's currently on the front page of HyperBot, and that guy used Catalyst 9.4. So I'm on Catalyst 9.4 now. Um, Weird zoom on this resolution. Let's see if I can go into bench resolution and everything still works. I haven't tried that. How's everyone doing? Still feeling okay? No. Still kind of a weird zoom going on here. Which I suppose isn't the end of the world. Um, let's see if I can fix it somewhat. Uh, Close enough, I guess. I'm a perfectionist. All right, that'll do. Okay, so I haven't actually overclocked this card yet. So yeah, old stuff, very old stuff. 2007, I think, is this card? Yes, 2007 release date. Actually, funnily enough, this release date entry in GPU Z is quite accurate, which kind of surprises me. Um, I have a few of these cards, and I want to run them crossfire as well. Um, so I have actually four of them right next to me. So let's quickly show you those before I actually bench. So some of them are actually not dipped, but vased up. So this is the one that came from Popa Ramiro, the famous chiller bencher from Romania. As you can see, it's deshimmed. Usually there would be a shim around here. So that came pre-deshimmed, and it's got a volt mod on here, but it's loose. So the ground wire here is loose, and I haven't had a chance to fix that. So that's probably why the card doesn't post. So that's just a V-core mod. As you can see, two crossfire connectors here, but actually dual two card crossfire is the best you can do on these. So it's actually just for bandwidth to have the two connected. And then we have a 6 pin and an 8 pin, and just DVI out. I don't think I have a stock cooler here, but so that's card number one. Card number two, also deshimmed. This, by the way, is the really nicely fitting VRM cooler that I have on the card currently in the rig. So I have two of those coolers. So Popa's cards came with those coolers. So if I ever want to run Crossfire or whatever, I just have to swap the coolers around. If I want to bin another card today, I'll probably have to swap that around as well. This is the 512 megabyte version, so they are actually split in the rankings. There's 2900 Pro, which is kind of a lower, slightly lower binned, lower like stock card. I think it has less shaders or something, I don't know, but it's a slightly lower end card. The XT is the higher end one, and then there's a 256 megabyte version and a 512, but the 512 has been benched a lot more, so I have 4 of them here. This is the second Popa card, again with lots of VAS on it, because he likes to run chillers Sub-Zero and also deshimmed. And here the Volt mod is still intact, so this one came loose I think during shipping, if you can see that just about, but I can just copy whatever's going on this card on the other card, and then both of those should be working. But it just means that today I have 3 working cards instead of 4. And here we have a card with the shim still intact. So this came from a retired Aussie bencher called Fat Guy. So you can see the shim. It's not that hard to get it off just with a razor. I deshimmed the card that's under here because actually the contact, it's not one of these fully sort of recessed cores, but I can definitely see that the core is a little bit recessed from the shim, so you want to deshim. So here you have a card with no VAS on it. Pretty big card, pretty power hungry, and no mods. But they're all reference designs, so I could mod all 4 cards for VCore for sure just by copying the Popa card. So we may get around to binning some of those other cards. Maybe. So let's see what we can do in terms of render test. DirectX 10 card actually, so supported benches would be things like obviously Aquamark 01, 03, 05, 06, which is what I can run on this OS. Aqua I think is corrupted at the moment, I may not bother with that, so probably 03, 05, 06. Let's see how far we get. And then on Win 7 you're talking, I mean you can run Heaven Basic, which is a DirectX 9 bench on XP, but usually it scores better on Win 7. And Vantage, which is interesting because a lot of the scores are on quad cores. So Vantage would be maybe an easier one to get a good score in. Alright, let's just see what we can do in terms of render tests. I don't know how high I want to go. The good thing about this card is it's just advanced enough, it's just new enough to actually have a ton of temperature sensors actually. So you've got all of these VCore sensors or VRM sensors, which is VDDC, which is our voltage here. Let's go back to, I think 1.3 is probably reasonable. So as you can see, that applied here. We just have to be a little bit careful. I might have to up the fan speed over here. And now let's go, funnily enough, clock control and ATI tool isn't, yeah, weird resolution, but at least I can see it. The other one was a bit like fuzzy. So we have voltage control and ATI tool, but clock control doesn't work there. It will actually jump back to 2D clocks. It will lock in 2D clocks if I try to use this core control here. But voltage works fine. So let's have a look at, I don't know, 830 or something like that. Oof. Yeah, I went back down to 2D clocks there. I thought I had fixed that issue. Let's reload the driver, see what happens. Oof. Okay, that was a bit counterproductive to say the least. Right. Just as I thought I had fixed that issue. But worst case scenario, we can reboot after every clock apply. No, it's not a program specific issue, Rushed. I tried ATI tool, Riva tuner, MSI afterburner. The driver side overclocking doesn't show up at all. I can try again on this driver, but I doubt it's there. Yeah, it's all just locked out. What else do I have? I have like this this GPU clock tool. To be honest, ideally I'd probably be flashing a bias with just slightly higher stock voltage and higher than boost clocks. That might work, but I don't know if I want to do that right now. So back in here, 1.25, let's say. Make sure it applied in GPU Z. It did. Maybe it just doesn't like big jumps, who knows. Try without that tick mark? Oh, okay, that just freezes the 810 and seems good. Let's see where the limit is. Maybe we just have to do small steps. Let's see. 820. No, it doesn't want to go above 810. That's not great. Let's see if we can do 820 with a reboot. Maybe it's just one of those things where it can only apply on reboot. Hey Ginger, how you doing? Let's see how it goes. Reboot after every clock apply isn't the end of the world at all. I mean, it's surely not optimal, but I can live with that. Good-ish. Yeah, that didn't apply. What else can we try? So this is the supposedly AMD internal. Oh, mem first. Okay. Oh, I know what you're saying. Maybe it doesn't allow you to overclock the memory above, sorry, the core above the memory. Okay. Yeah, that's, let's just do a mild overclock like 855. Yes, and now it applied 820. Okay. Okay. Extreme Systems Group. Yes. Thanks, Keep. Okay, so let's see if we can just baby step it up. Oof. Okay, that might simply be a hang because there's not enough voltage. All right, I might do, let's see. What's a reasonable overclock? What did Popa get on his cards? He got 1100 on the memory. That's kind of impressive, I have to say. Ugh. Oh, now my browser locks up. That's kind of weird. Okay. Let's go like 900 memory and 820 core. I think that's a reasonable starting point. What manufacturer is this memory even? So it's DDR3. Hynix. Okay, that's kind of expected, to be honest. All right, let's go. Let's see what it does on 900 mem. It's applying 891, but that might just be because it's very stepped. So I'm okay with that. And 820 core. Can we save that as a profile? Whatever. 2900 XT. Let's run a bit of 01. Oh, sorry, 03. You can never go wrong running 03. So CPU is nicely clocked. 5.4 Northbridge as well. Let's just do full run. See what happens. No LOD. Wow, over 1000 FPS is nice. I might need D3D overrider actually. What time is it now? So this is kind of my West Coast US slot, I suppose. 7 p.m. 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. on the East Coast. That's not bad. So the power supply fan just started spinning up. Maybe I need to optimize my CPU vCore. Oh, core voltage didn't set. Well, it's still happy, so but thanks for pointing that out. We're having a bit of a golden autumn here in Sydney, Australia. Still getting sort of 25 degrees Celsius every day. Clear blue skies, but I can't really go anywhere to take advantage of it. You just can't go wrong with 03. 03 is such a great bench. And I'm glad there's no tech issues right now. Maybe we can. Wow, my Chrome is still crashed. They always say that you know, the sandboxing and stuff that they have in Chrome is so amazing and you're never gonna get any crashes, but there's still quite a number of issues that just crash the entire browser anyway. So interesting that it's so dark, but I suppose that's how the test should look. So Brave. So Brave is an alternate browser that's based on Chromium, I'm guessing. All right, so here we've got our 03 rankings. So a couple of LN2 results at the top. That's I think this car needs quite a lot of hard mods for LN2, so that's sort of out of the question. It doesn't seem like the VRM would hold up either, so you might have to e-power it. No. Ooh, the Cascade one could be interesting. We're on nature already, nice. So our good friend from the Russian Federation, _12_. Where's that voltage slider at? Can we guesstimate what that is? Maybe he says it in his result actually. No, he doesn't. So that looks like it might be V sensing, not. That's not e-powered, is it? That's just extra sense wires. Or maybe he's relocated the. It sort of looks like he's relocated the 6 and 8 pin. Dice, yeah. Now that guy knows what he's doing. So I'm not seeing a ton of mods on there, but Cascade temps might still be fine. All right, so we have a result. 46k. Let's just quickly compare that. Obviously we don't have LOD, so we're sort of in the oops, we're sort of in the 900 region here. Let's just quickly grab that. And it only shows correct. Yeah, it only shows correct clocks under load. So, and you are right, the voltage didn't apply. I may have to apply voltage after clocks for it to stick. All right. Maybe I need to keep Riva Tuner open. All right. Reopen GPU Z just to make sure the clocks are still there. Okay, so applying vCore actually made the difference. Yeah, I keep getting this where it talks about there not being enough power supply. Well, is there some way I can disable clock control? Well, actually, all right. So it's just a little bit fidgety. It just have to make sure that everything sort of applies. And now let's test closing everything. Let's relaunch GPU-Z just to be paranoid. I think I might have to stick to Riva Tuner for monitoring. Let's go 950. What's the worst that can happen? Okay. Can I add the voltage here? Surprisingly not. Okay. So I do have to use GPU-Z for voltage monitoring. This is getting complicated very quickly. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out a way to apply both voltage and clocks, and it's proving to be a bit of a challenge. Okay. All right. So where was that? Yeah. So that was the magic tick mark. Was if the card has both 2D and 3D clocks, it should display the 3D clocks. So it at least doesn't. I still can't set clocks using ATI tool, but at least it won't interfere in the currently set clock. So then, hopefully, since it's now detected the clock properly, that's all I needed to do is to detect the currently set clock, not to actually allow me to change it here. I should now be able to go and apply volts. And thankfully this card is new enough to have two different power states for 2D and 3D, because otherwise once you set a clock that's past a certain like threshold, it just wouldn't set the clock, because it wouldn't actually be able to set the clock without the voltage set. So then you have some sort of a weird chicken and egg problem. So now I'm curious if I now close everything. Okay, let's do the litmus test now. Let's relaunch GPU-Z and see if the clocks are still there. No. Maybe it's because it's not under load. All right, so my conclusion from that is that GPZ is just not accurate here. So let's use Reaver Tuner monitoring. Clocks are fine. Yeah, let's just keep monitoring open, and then that will tell us if it drops back down to another state.